Well, hi there, everybody. I'm going to call this a twofer. What that means is this is actually a simulcast of my podcast, Love Letters to Pam, the Jack Church Show, and it's also part of our YouTube channel, Traveling with Jack and Pam. Now, the reason I decided to make this into a twofer, as I say, is I truly believe this may be one of the most important messages that I've delivered when it comes to grief, recovery, and moving forward. I'm sitting here right now, just a few minutes before sunset, in one of the most desirable places in all of America to live. It's beautiful Williamson County, and I'm in one of those planned communities. You know the kind, where they have the little town square, the tree-lined streets, beautiful homes in all directions. Everything one could ever want is right here in this little community of million-dollar homes. As you drive about or walk about, you see families taking strolls. You see older couples in golf carts. That's right, they have golf carts here in this community. You can get in your golf cart and drive to one of maybe the little restaurants in their little town square, or even go grab some groceries. Again, everything is here. And you know what? This is where I thought my life would be at this point. Pam and mine's expectations where we would someday live in a community like this. Oh yeah, they've got a championship golf course. They've got hiking trails. Everything you could ever want. This is what I expected for my life. But you know, you tuned into this particular podcast or YouTube video because the title may have gotten your interest about how life doesn't always turn out as expected. But let's go back to the beginning for just a bit. And I hope you will share this message with others. It's going to be a little longer, but I think it's worth it. I think about my own life and the expectations that I've had over the years. I go back, say, to middle school, getting ready to go into the 7th grade, and my parents announced that we're moving 50 miles east of the little town where I was born and had a large network of friends and such. But they said, hey, the new town we're going to is going to be great. We're going to be living on a lake, we'll have a boat, and we're thinking about getting you a mini bike. My expectations then were pretty high. This sounds great. So we moved there. Yeah, the lake was great. The mini bike was great. That was exceeding expectations. However, school, well, let's just say I became the punching bag for some boys at PE time in the locker room. That was far below my expectations. So middle school, the start of it was a little tough. But then I got into high school, and high school exceeded my expectations. I had lots of friends. I even became the student council president for the entire high school. Our principal knew that I always wanted to talk, or I talked about how I wanted to go into broadcasting one day. He got me press credentials. So as a high school senior, I was going to St. Louis and interviewing my boyhood heroes, St. Louis Cardinal baseball players. I even got to interview President Jimmy Carter at the Nashville airport. My life was going great. My expectations, well, they were being exceeded. Now on the dating front though, my expectations were not being met. I was always the guy that all the girls wanted to have as a friend. But you know me, I was a typical guy. I wanted to be more than just a friend. I needed a girlfriend. Well, expectations not being met. Until one day, my parents knew this couple in a town about 20 miles away, and they had a daughter, and her name was Pam. And I met Pam. Oh my gosh, she exceeded my expectations. It was like dating the prom queen and cheerleader all wrapped up in one. She was absolutely beautiful, funny, just great. And we had a great relationship, and it was exceeding my expectations. But then it was time to go off to college. And Pam wasn't really sure what she was going to do, and I was going to go to a town about 60 miles away to attend college. That may as well have been on the moon for two young kids. So I broke up with Pam. Well, I got down there. Long story short, we got back together. we got married, and it was great. It exceeded all expectations. I had this beautiful, gorgeous wife now, and I loved showing her off. And you know, if you talk to any of our close friends and such, they'll tell you Pam was one of those women that I swear she got prettier and sexier the older she got. She was like a fine wine. She just got better with age. She was fantastic. Again, exceeding my expectations. Oh, along the way, we had 2 great kids. And you know what? We kind of held our expectations in check. It's like, let's just get them through high school and see where they go from here. Well, they exceeded our expectations. They not only went to college, but they graduated in 4 years, got their degrees, didn't move home, and moved on to careers that they're both enjoying now. They exceeded our expectations. Oh yeah, Pam and I, we moved all over the country. But I gotta tell you, we lived in some gorgeous places. From Santa Barbara County, California, to Fort Myers, Naples, Florida, Austin, Texas, Bend, Oregon. These were all destination locations, exceeding our expectations. Yeah, it was kind of tough on the kids moving all the time, but Pam always made sure that things went well, and she worked hard to make sure that their expectations were also exceeded. So life was going along just great. We're making plans, right? Our final move, or the one we thought was going to be kind of the forever move, had an opportunity to go to Southern Oregon, work for a locally owned and operated TV station. Really nice people. They gave me a good contract, a good salary, great benefits. We moved there. Lots of great outdoor activities, lots of golf. And we moved into this beautiful 2-story townhome, kind of like the homes you find here in this planned community. It was beautiful. It exceeded our expectations. Pam and I started making some plans to maybe buy it, or we were looking in some other neighborhoods, some homes to purchase. All of them were exceeding our expectations. Well, a few months earlier, Pam had been having a little bit of back pain, and she'd go to the chiropractor, and he would exceed her expectations in the fact that her pain would get better. It was manageable. We're feeling pretty good, right? Well, then one day, we're on the golf course, and she could barely swing the club. And she looked at me and she said, "Sweetheart, I think there's something more going on. I don't know what it is." So we went to a doctor, and he decided to do an MRI. Our expectations were he was going to come back and tell us that, oh yeah, you've got some twisted up nerves, you got a little nerve damage here and there. We can work it out though. That was our expectations. Well, when the report came back, we were devastated. We didn't get what we expected. They said cancer was in Pam's bones from head to toe. So then life took a turn. It was not what I had expected, nor what Pam had expected either. We moved out of our beautiful 2-story townhome into a small 2-bedroom, 1-bed flat, a little apartment. It was easier for Pam to get around in there. We put on hold any idea of buying a home. The idea of settling in long term there was starting to not look, well, maybe not as likely. But I continued to expect she was going to have a miracle and she was going to get better. And Pam did too. But you know what? It didn't quite turn out as expected. I still remember one day in her last few weeks, now this beautiful woman, the one who reminded me of a prom queen and cheerleader all wrapped in one, her little body was now breaking down, and I was having to help her in the bathroom. Mind you, she kept working from home though, right up until a couple of weeks before she had to go to heaven. But anyway, we're in the bathroom one day and I'm helping her. And we both laughed when I told her, I said, you know, remember we said if it ever got to the point we had to help one another in the bathroom, we'd probably check out on one another? And I looked at her and I said, but you know what, sweetheart? if I had to help you for another 20 years and it meant you'd still be here, I'd do it. And she looked at me and she says, but I don't want you to have to do that. And you know what that told me? Her expectations were not being met either. She didn't expect to end up that way. Not even before she turned 60. She was still a young woman. Life didn't turn out as Pam expected. Life certainly didn't turn out as I expected. She then went to heaven. I then later left that great television job in that beautiful Southern Oregon community, and here I sit now in Nashville, Tennessee. Here I sit now outside of this beautiful planned community where I expected at this point in life Pam and I would be living. This is where we'd be getting ready for the holidays, to have friends and family visiting us. We would have just finished up a beautiful walk here. Maybe we played some golf today. Those were the expectations I had. But those expectations, no, they fell short. The bottom line is, life is not going to go as we expected. We have to be prepared for the ups and downs that come with it. Now, one thing I need to mention, one of Pam's expectations, though, has been met. That day, which was almost 2 years ago now, when she went to heaven, she fully expected to end up in heaven and walk the streets with Jesus, she said. And I'm going to bet her expectations were exceeded. At least that's what I hope, and that's what I believe. And I believe that while right now my life is not going as expected, my bank account is nowhere close to where I thought it would be. No, we used all the money to pay off all the medical bills. But you know what? What would I be doing with a bunch of money now? Do I really want to live here all alone now? I don't know. But again, life just didn't quite turn out as expected. Am I happy about it? No. But I do know that there are other things ahead in my life. And I've learned to kind of temper my expectations. Oh, there are lots of these speakers out there who do the rah-rah and such and tell you, you can do anything. Yeah, you can. Maybe, maybe not. It's not really in our hands. So that's about it. I don't know if I've helped you much, but I think it was an important message to think about our expectations in life. The thing that I've learned is many times expectations will be met, many times they will be exceeded, but there are also going to be some major disappointments and loss, and we have to be prepared for those times. And while we're left behind on this earth, let's make the best of it. You know what I always say? I will love Pam forever and always. But I'll see her again. And again, I am expecting a good finish to life. Maybe not here on earth, but in heaven it's going to be way cool, folks. I sure hope so. Nah, I'm not going to hope. I believe it, and I know it. Until we talk again, let's make it a great day. Better yet, you know what? Make it a better tomorrow. Bye now.